Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I want to talk about something. I made this video yesterday and I was bashing video games a lot, but I've learned a lot of things from video games that I applied to my real life, and I'm able to make progress um, almost without any issues. I've written down the different games that I've learned different things from, and I want to sort of go over them, and I want to tell you how to apply them in real life. So first of all, this is one of the first games I've played, and I feel like this is a lot of children around my age. Minecraft. We've all been playing that game where we play either survival or creative. I was the kind of person who played creative more, and what I would do is I would just build stuff. I'd let my creativity run wild because I couldn't believe a game like that existed. And what would often happen is if you play Minecraft and you sort of are a builder, I guess you'll relate to this. Is building is often more fun than the final project. I mean, yeah, you could show off the final project and all, but eventually you just delete it, or you don't bother with it. I guess you make improvements to it, which is even more uncomfortable, and then it feels even better, and you keep improving. But the fun is in improving it, not looking at it, not glamorizing it. You keep building it over and over and over. That's how you have all these crazy Minecraft builds or whatever. And this is one of the lessons that I've learned from Minecraft, is that working for success is often the fun part, or working for example, for me, working for the body, working for the mindset, working for whatever I want, the work is the fun part. And this game, honestly, I feel like does very, very good job about teaching it to kids. It's just that it never, well, people most people don't tend to come out of that shell. They stay in that video game, which is a real shame, of course. um, I got into Counter-Strike. I have 4,000, I believe, 800 hours, uh, and I played on Faceit back in the Middle East. So we didn't really have servers, Faceit servers. We had a hub, and in this hub, I would go against players who have been playing the game for over 10 years. These guys are like really experienced in the game. So these guys just play the game all day, and they pretty much they can play all day because they're old guys with like wife and kids. They have a lot of money. They can do whatever. They could just play the game as much as they want, and they do. And I was just a little kid, and I was playing this game with them, and I was able to compete. I've grown rivalries, I've grown friendships, and I have a lot of fond memories playing with these guys. But the important thing is I took a lesson away from that game. The game taught me that putting in putting in work for something is always going to stay forever. For example, let's say you buy a pack of cigarettes, something that's I struggle with a lot, right? Is quitting smoking. Well, I've quit smoking now, but I've struggled with it. You buy a pack of cigarettes and you smoke one. In the moment, you sort of feel that peace, right? You're like, oh, thank God that nicotine hits, and your brain's just all like your brain just starts to relax a little bit, I guess. But it's not really relaxed, because what's gonna happen is now, because you smoke, you're gonna keep going back to it, and in the long term, what's gonna happen to you is your lungs gonna fuck up, your stamina is gonna fuck up, your health is gonna fuck up. Overall, you're not going to be healthy, and when you're unhealthy, you also just look unattractive, and those combined makes it so that people don't want to talk to you, people don't want to be around you, and people don't respect you, even though I understand deeply why you would do it. People wouldn't. Like, people would look at you like a drug addict and they just stay away. So of course, hard work, when you resist that urge, and when you're able to overcome it, the effects that you find are very slow, but once the rewards come to you, they don't go away easily. For example, I've been back and forth with self improvement. I was at a bad place, and I was able to so quickly just snap and think, okay, I'm gonna do this now, and I'm gonna be happy about it. I'm gonna be grateful for what little I have, and eventually, I cannot. I literally, I'm baffled by how much things I have to be grateful about, and I've never been this happy. It is truly something amazing to be grateful. And all of this came from me trying to do this 3 years ago, failing, sure, but the effects have stayed with me. And that is something I've learned from Counter Strike, is that when you, for example, when I play that game, I'm like, so I don't have games installed, but I install it if I really, really want to play it, right? And when I do play it, I am still winning games. I'm still able to, like, be decent. I have decent spray control. If any of you play Counter Strike, you know this. I have a good spray control. That is something I practiced a lot. I have good muscle memory with my keyboard mouse. My movement is good. My focus, my sort of gameplay flow is just very good. And I don't even play it anymore. That's because when I did play it, I had that really focus and sort of wanted to get better at the game, and I did. And that doesn't leave very easily. So that is something I learned. Another thing I wrote down here is analysis. Analysis simply means you are able to look at yourself. So this is only the better players of Counter-Strike are going to relate to this, is watching demos. But in real life, that means you write down what you do and then you look back, or you just remember what you do and you look back. Like, okay, today I woke up late. I ate garbage food, and then I sat around on my phone until I thought, hey, I should be productive. That's not very helpful. Starting tomorrow, I'm going to wake up early. I am going to eat good food. And then instead of being on my phone, I am going to meditate, or I am going to sit and read a book. Or maybe I'm not going to do anything. Maybe I'm just going to sit and think of the chores that I have. Maybe you haven't shaved in a while. And as you can see, I've shaved from my last video. Maybe you haven't, maybe you need to get in touch with your parents. Maybe you have something that you always wanted to do, but you just got distracted all the time. And this is analysis, and this I learned from Counter-Strike. What I used to do is I used to watch demos, and I used to learn my mistakes. I used to see the enemy, and every time I would see the enemy come up on the enemy team, or the specific person, I'm like, oh, okay, I know this guy, I'm going to do this. And that made me that much more better, because these guys were just playing mindlessly, and I was being mindful. And I think that is very important, being analytical of yourself, not critical. Remember, you're not trying to criticize yourself. Don't beat yourself up if you slip up. Be analytical and make the changes you want. The third one I have here is discomfort, but I believe I covered that for Minecraft, talking about how putting in the work, which is just uncomfortable, that's the fun part. And eventually, when you sort of imagine like a track, right, and you're starting here, this is the end point, you sort of, it's really difficult to like keep going. Let's say if it's like a mountain or whatever, you keep going up, but eventually when you're up there and you look back, you're like, holy shit, this is all I've covered. Like, I've climbed all that. That was not easy, that was difficult. The important thing is you look back and you be proud of your progress and you keep going. Another game that I played a lot is Tekken 7. Well, not specifically Tekken 7. I've been playing Tekken for a long time with my brothers, and one thing I've learned from that game is that, one thing I learned in that game is difficulty. The higher the difficulty, the more the fun. And this is true for real life. If if you start off easy and it's very difficult, and if you're able to stay undistracted, you will genuinely feel happy and it will become fun. And then eventually you start increasing the difficulty. One misconception, I know I'm not a heavy lifter, I don't really look like one, but I think a lot of heavy lifters will agree with me. My brothers are heavy lifters. Uh, my I have a few experience with trying to lift heavy. Obviously, not by much, but I'm trying to sort of convey this message to the people who just do not lift whatsoever. Is that the higher weights don't become easier to lift. The heavy weights are just as heavy for me as it is for you, but the difference is that you genuinely become stronger. And when you become stronger, it's not that it's easier to pull, you are just that much more resilient to that pressure and you can keep it going. For example, if I were to try row machines, so like you sit that way, you pull back, working your back. I can do 35 one and 35 on the other, or 45, or even 55. But the point is, it gets very difficult for me to just keep working those. But for example, with someone who has worked that better, yeah, it's easier, of course, because he's stronger. Not only that, he's more resistant to that weight. He can work that weight. He can just go slow or whatever, and he can still feel the same thing I feel. But to him, it's not the same. He needs to up the difficulty, because that's simply more fun. That resistance, that discomfort, overcoming that is the fun in life. And this is just a gym example. Of course, I'm not just preaching about gym. I want everyone to sort of be uncomfortable almost every day. I believe that should be the norm. And I think it's a very good point to be uncomfortable and to learn how to be comfortable in the uncomfortable, and then keep going out, finding out more things you are uncomfortable with, simply makes you a bigger man. And I have both of these connected, Tekken and Counter-Strike, with routine. And so I was talking about life there, but because at the earlier stages I was just playing video games because I just didn't think I could be better in real life. I thought genetics was all that is. So Counter-Strike and Tekken are all connected to routine, and this is very, very important. Always keep a routine, even for video games, which is funny. I used to have a routine for Counter-Strike. I used to have a routine for Tekken. And because of that routine, I used to put in less time and be better faster. Because my real life were kept in order. My video games were also okay. If you are an esports gamer, or if you want to be an esports gamer, you have to build in routine into your real life. You cannot just play all day, 24/7, 8 hours a day, whatever. You can't do that. You have to keep your real life in order. You have to be able to meet other people, and you have to be able to work both sort of jobs, the virtual and the real world. And although it is very unhealthy, it's not something that's easy to do. So if you can pull it off and still be healthy and be happy, good on you. Otherwise, of course, you're gonna need to work on it. The final game that I have here is, this is a more recent game. It's Doom Eternal. So this is by id Software, one of the most amazing game I've ever played. It taught me a lot about just video game design, which made me find my passion that I want to make video games. I'm not obsessed by them. It's not that I'll play games a lot myself, but I do play games every now and then, the ones that I deem are worth it. So I do it mindfully. I'm very careful of the games I play. So any trash games, I just put it aside. I don't even bother with it. I have about 88 games. I don't bother with them. I just play the good ones. And right now it's Prey, I believe. but I still don't have that installed. So I will play it somewhere in the future once I think I deserve that break. But for now, I don't want to. I don't feel like playing it, so I'm not going to. This also, I have another one. Overcoming difficulties is fun, and I've covered that. But yes, even this game teaches you that the harder is more fun. So there's this whole divide in the community or whatever, that people play the easy mode, and then the people that play the harder difficulty sort of bully the people who play on easy mode. And there's some sayings that are like, don't bully them, let them play how they want to play. Yeah, sure, do that. Play in easy mode or whatever. Not only are you not taking a challenge in real life by just sitting and playing video games, you're not even going to challenge yourself in that virtual world where you sit, where you don't have to put in the effort. Well, not as much in real life, of course, it's more difficult. You don't have to put that much effort into playing a video game. It's not that hard to, like, I played Doom Eternal, I'm pretty good at it. I'm able to sort of go through the game pretty fast. It's not hard to quick switch, or it's not hard to understand the game, to manage your whatever. It's a video game. You learn that thing so easily, but in real life it's so much harder. So if you struggle with something that easy in a video game, I guess that would be your start. Maybe start taking challenges in places you're comfortable with, like in video games, then come to the real world and take difficult challenges there. For me, I never had that issues. I always wanted to play games in the proper difficult way, and I think that is why I'm able to sort of do things in real life so much better than other people who are trying and failing. Is I keep my ambitions high. I just have to be told that I can do it, but not literally. Just I have to understand it. Once I've understood that, I will do it, and I believe this is how I feel like for my life, that I will achieve what I want. And to be honest, I feel like I have, but of course that's another topic. I don't have the greatest body, I'm not rich, whatever, but that's a separate video. But yes, these are the lessons that I'm just looking at my monitor here. These are the lessons that I've learned from my video game experience. Of course, I've played a lot of other games, but I didn't really learn much from them. But yeah, I hope this was useful to people who play these games. Or maybe if you don't, you play another fighting game, sure, same applies. If you play Valorant instead of CSGO, which, okay, I don't like the game, but you know what, you do you. Same applies. You put in the work, you see the effort, you see the outcome, and it stays long term. Once it stays long term, now you know how real life works, but just longer. It just takes longer, but it is worth it. And if you really understand these lessons from these video games and apply it to real life, I think you won't be having any trouble. I don't think you'll be even watching this video. But thank you for watching this video. I'm very eager to hear back from anyone who watches this, anyone who can relate, and I will see you guys very soon in my next video. Take care.